the JTrain podcast. This is JTrain, Jared Freid, coming live from the West Village of Manhattan. We're here every Monday with your emails, your stories, your questions. I say it every episode. I'll say it again. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a viewer. If you're on YouTube, we're on YouTube every episode. I want to tell you people, if you are listening, you've never done the YouTube experience, I want you to go check it out. Subscribe to the channel. This is me asking you for a little bit of a favor because I get it. You're like, I got my way of listening. But you might be in, like, I'll have the computer in bed next to me. I'm like, I need something to keep me going, something to, watch while I'm sitting here lying out. YouTube.com/Jared Freid. You can subscribe to the channel. It's there for you for whenever you need it. But otherwise, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this great show. You can send in your emails. We answer your emails, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. The emails today, I have to say, Shelby, you outdid yourself. These are depthy. These are difficult. These are like, there's meat on these bones for us to chew on. And I just want to say thank you for sending them. If you're sitting there with an issue, a problem, a thought, send it in, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. Lifestyle, relationship, friend stuff. These are the things that we discuss here in a comfortable surrounding because they're not comfortable to talk about with your friend. And if you hear a question that you just discussed with a friend at the brunch table, send them this podcast. It'll be like, oh my God, they just talked about your issue. So keep sending it around. I'm on the road, people. So if you're listening now, when does this come out? We're getting ahead a little bit. We're ahead. March 6th, this will be out. So I will have already been in Irvine, California. I'm coming to Indianapolis this weekend. I'm going to Spokane, Oklahoma City. Then I'm going to Europe. I'm so excited to go to Europe. If you're listening, I can't even believe people are listening in Europe. I can't believe someone's sitting in Dublin, like having whatever they have in Dublin, just listening. And I had friends that, we have comic friends that we're just in Europe and they're telling me places to go. I'm so excited. So Dublin, Belfast, London, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Berlin, Oslo. And then I come back for Nashville. We changed the Nashville date because we're going to do some U Up Live shows. So go to jaredfree.com for the tickets. Very excited. Today's guest, an OKP to the show, original key player. It's been a while, but I'm so happy to have you back, Seton Smith. Thank you for coming.
Blessed to be here, dude. This is great to be here. The new studio and shit.
The new studio. You're like the original. You were coming on early.
Yeah, man. I got lucky. I got to see the fire, the embers of that fire sparking.
Right.
Like, yo, look at all this money in this room. This is nice, dude. Congratulations on the European tour. That's awesome,
I'm so excited. Have you done? You've gone to
Just
Europe.
came from Europe 2 weeks ago.
How was
me to
it?
Europe and Australia. Europe is amazing. Wonderful people.
What was your favorite? So for the listeners at home, first of all, go follow Seton Smith on
Please.
all social media. Seton's fantastic, hilarious. You've been opening for John Mulaney.
Yeah, man.
And
blessings. Cool.
Dude, you're a part of the biggest comedy show in the world right now. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It's hard because for me to understand that, and because I'm in a bubble and I tend to be naive about things. I'll be like, whatever, I'm not. But but then when people start showing up to the show, they'll be like, oh, it's this big. Oh, it's this big.
Right.
Like I remember Malala, the Nobel Prize winner, came and she read a speech to him, and I was just like, wow. It was like the day that like there was like something happened where the women weren't allowed to wear. It was like that law. Remember that? I'm not being very specific at all. God.
It sounds like
horrible.
It sounds like whatever you're talking about is more than I would know. I should know about it, but
I know it was one of those. I gotta Google what the fuck's happening in front of my eyes right now. It was crazy,
dude. So Malala's there.
Yeah, man. I remember I embarrassed myself in front of Lin-Manuel. I did. It was just because it was like one of those situations where like there was another TV star there, and it was one of those moments where it's like, I know you, but I don't know where you're from. And and there's a moment I realized that if you stare a little too long, then you're weird. So I was like, I know you. And he's like, so where are you from? I'm like, I think I need to move to LA and New York, but I know you. And he was like, okay, let me turn around. Shit's like that.
Dude, because I've been in that situation where you're opening for someone, it's their show, but you are around like this like
Okay, let me give you my best one. This is my best loving story. Bill Murray. Bill Murray's story. Bill Murray came to one of the shows, and Bill Murray to me is one of the my hero. I grew up watching all that shit.
Right.
Every movie from Ghostbusters to Groundhog Day. Like Ghostbusters was my childhood. Groundhog Day was like my teenage years.
That hits you right in the forehead of nostalgia. Yeah,
I put too much on him as a human being. I know I got to be aware of that. So when he came to the show, he came into the room. And I'm trying not to like stand next to him because I just wanted to not be like, did you like my set? I didn't try to be no bitch about it. And then he did the nicest thing to me. I found out later there was some scandal that happened on this set.
Yeah, he had an issue.
Yeah, this was right in the middle of it. So he just came off that set, came in, and then like he leaned into me and was like, "Hey man, listen, I didn't really see your set, but I'm sure you did great, have fun." Now, mind you, because of all that shit was going on, he took the time to like make some young guy feel better about himself. Well, versus, you know what I'm saying?
And he knows as a comic, all you want is, when people know they're celebrity and they know. As Bill Murray backstage, I gotta let this guy know I didn't even see it.
To me, that was much bigger than him. Hey, I love your set because I love your set. Like I go in my head, going, I wonder if he actually loved it. Now I'm like, oh, he's a genuine nice guy. He's a wonderful human being. Fuck it, I fucks with you, dude.
Well, I think that to me is a comedian knowing comedians.
Yeah,
like him knowing, like, oh my god, I'm me. I'm obviously, look at the age. This is the profile of someone that would love me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me just let him in on what's going on here. Yeah. Dude. So you go Europe and Australia. Like the idea that you're doing 16,000 people, and this is, Seaton is here because he taped a special at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. That was only 13,500, so I ain't gonna be like saying I don't want to be one of them dudes.
Well, what I watched the special.
Thanks, man.
It's so good.
Thank you.
It's on YouTube right now, so I want everyone to like make a date night. We're gonna have the link, Shelby. Make sure the link is in the description of this episode, so it's very easy to just take that link, copy, paste it, email it to yourself. Make sure you have it for when you're ready to watch a special with a friend, coworker, whatever it is. And
I have noticed that. It goes in waves, like weekends. People like, oh, that's how it works.
Right. Like people make it a night. This is the thing. Airplay it to your TV. You watch it and what I love is like you're watching you go up to a cold Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And that's not how, that's not how Mulaney gets it. Mulaney gets up and they're like, they've been preparing for Mulaney all day. They got their headspace. They're excited. Listen, I know this. You know this. Yeah. When you headline and you're the name on the the marquee, everyone is like moving their brain towards this is when I laugh. When you open, people are like, okay, we'll get there. Who's this guy? I don't know. Well, but you are liked by the guy I like, so that's a little bit of a head start. It was cool to watch you to come out in front of a Madison Square Garden audience that's like a little bit like, hey, did you get the popcorn? Did you, it's a little bit
scatterbrained. It was chaos. It was a chaos set. And I don't know, for some reason it felt a reflection of my life. Sometimes it's hard for me to lie to people sometimes. It's like, well, I could find a weird polished situation in some small bar, some small theater, or I could have a wild-ass show in Madison Square Garden. It was one of those decisions.
It's so awesome. I just love that it took people, it shows them you, but then it takes people behind the scenes of this like very weird role that we play.
Yeah.
Like when I opened for Michelle Wolf all the time, you'd be at her shows and like, just like you're saying, a celebrity would walk in and have these amazing things. And then they turn to you and be like, "Oh my God, like they would." And now you're in this weird bubble of like, I don't know. It's just a weird feeling, right?
Being around celebrities. Yeah, I didn't really think about it before, but being about it now, it's nice.
Yeah,
you'd be like, oh, this is what modern day royalty feels like,
right? And you have to ground yourself. You have to go. This is also not my show.
Oh,
there's so many times where I'm like, remember, you have to pull yourself back from it. You have to, you get on these weird high. I don't know. I understand. I can't imagine. And like, I opened for Bert Kreischer, and then you see how the stadiums work, and you see that like there's a curtain that moves up and back, so you can do a stadium for 4,000 people, and you're still doing a stadium. But there's a curtain up at some point. If you're in the Mulaney category, that curtain keeps moving back until it disappears.
Exactly. And then there's like the Kevin Hart thing where he's right in the middle, which is another thing. Right. And then you get Iglesias who gets in the fucking football stadium.
Right.
And then, Burr in that like baseball stadium where you're like, oh, there's always another tier up there where every dude is still jealous of the next dude. It never ends.
Hilarious. It's so wild to see.
It never ends. Because even if you're top comic, now you're jealous of the top movie star. And the top movie stars felt jealous of like Sinatra got jealous of like fucking the president. Like how fucking big.
That's crazy. So So the takeaway now, are you off tour? Are you going to go back?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Hopefully, help them tape a special next weekend. Hopefully,
Okay.
I say, because I'm taping a movie also this week. It's a fun and small indie movie.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's a wonderful project. A movie called My Hero. Basically, the whole premise is about a guy goes on a date with a woman. It's a shitty Tinder date. He leaves, goes home, and me and this other character come and say, we kidnapped your girlfriend. If you don't give us $50,000, we're gonna kill her. And he's like, hold on, first off, that's not my girlfriend. And second off, I'm not rich. And like, nah, these white people come here to these neighborhoods, you act like you poor, but you
Come
actually
on.
And then that's kind of shit goes crazy from there. It's a great story.
Is it a comedy?
Comedy, yes.
That's a great premise.
Great premise. I'm very excited.
I love the idea of like, went on a normal date. That's not my girlfriend.
Yes, exactly.
And now he's in this position where maybe he has to save someone that he was like okay with.
God, you're a wonderful filmmaker, Tyler Silvers and his family, Dean Silvers. Dean Silvers originally produced Flirting with Disaster with Ben Stiller back in the day.
Okay.
So it's just one of those, like, just a fun, old school family that makes movies in New York. It's kind of a fun vibe.
Love that.
Yeah. So, yeah, after that, then special. Then after that, I don't know. I think I'm going to just do a lot of internet stuff.
Yeah. Well, this is why we want people to follow you. At Seton Smith on all platforms. The special is called Seton Smith Live at Madison Square Garden. You can feel the bigness of it. You can feel, and what I love about Seton, you're always like talking with the crowd during your bits. And he's doing that in Madison Square. So happy for you. So cool. Everyone go to Seton's YouTube. It's in the description of this episode. I'll be sharing it all over my social media. Let's do some emails. You ready?
Yes, sir.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. A loving breakup. Will he come back? Jared, so much respect for you and the way you process the world. I've written before, but saw your request for more emails, so I'm back. Yeah, we requested more emails, and they're so good. We have this new batch, so keep sending them in. My boyfriend of 2.5 years and I just broke up. I'm 30, he's 35. And even in our breakup conversation, we agreed this is by far the most loving relationship we've ever been in. I've never thought it would end. After years of being on the fence, he suddenly decided he didn't want kids. He knows I do. I initially assumed that was our breakup conversation, but he wanted to talk about the possible ways forward because he didn't want the relationship to end. A few weeks later, he realized in a tearful conversation, his first time crying in 10 years, that he needs therapy to work through some of the deep-rooted issues, and he'll never be able to fully commit until he sorts through them. I'd been encouraging him to see a therapist about his blind spots for years, but as he said, he was arrogant enough to believe he could address them on his own. Until now. He asked me to reach out if I ever wanted to talk, have questions, or need anything, and he hopes that eventually we can be in each other's lives again somehow. We both said a lot of "I will always love yous." He was more destroyed than I was when he left, and I'm in fucking pieces. I've always been the realist pessimist in life and relationships, but the only thing that gets me to sleep now is the thought that we'll end up together again. Am I genuinely crazy for believing in that possibility? Thank you so much. Heartbroken and in denial. Heartbreaking email.
Wonderful heartbreaking.
I mean, it is real. There's a lot in it that I relate to.
Me too.
Are you seeing anyone now, Seton?
I don't know.
Okay. That's a very male way to answer that question.
Yeah.
Well, so you're in something-ish.
Yeah, it was one of those, after my last breakup, it was one of those, well, I don't ever want that again. So it's one
You don't
of
want
those,
that relationship again, or you don't want to break up again?
I don't want that dynamic again.
Okay.
It was one point in my life where I realized I kept dating the same type of people because of my own reactionary behavior.
Right.
I was reacting versus actually creating.
Well,
So it was like
this
one of
is
those.
also goes to the therapy stuff and
Exactly.
working on yourself and realizing that someone's not the right, match for you. And so you're kind of
yeah, it was one of those discoveries in life where I was like, oh wait, that's like the first 5 years of your life you learn what love is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a healthy relationship, the first 5 years is good. If you have an unhealthy relationship, then you'll continue to have those unhealthy relationships. It's like that was the problem. I was like, oh, so it was like recognizing a loving behavior versus unloving behavior, because the one thing I've realized in life, people will say they love you and do garbage things. And so you kind of got to like differentiate.
right. Well, what you have to do is trust kind of yourself and like your own taste, and saying just because someone's saying I love you doesn't mean they're not chopping off your hand, like at the same time.
Right.
And I was having a conversation about this a little bit where it was like, I was talking about breakups in the past, and then like every time I talk about it, I just like crush myself. Like I'm always like, that was me. But like, there's a point where you have to go, this wasn't, saying this wasn't the match is a empathetic view of like, yeah, two to tango.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
and I'm letting you in, and I'm making all these changes for this other person, but like this other person their dynamic is with me, and we both have things we got to work on.
Yeah, I remember we got into a conversation before. She was saying, well, when you talk about your ex, you're not taking any responsibility. I'm like, well, no, I just can't explain the situation without explaining the dynamic. You know, it's like one of those, like, this behavior led to me to this, but I liked that behavior because of the way I grew up. I was like, oh, wait, that's garbage behavior. I can't deal with that. Right, you know, so it's like, it's like one of those, that it's not attacking. It's like, no, this is specifically discovering things in life. Like I've started using Instagram Healthy, which is like how you kind of like stop looking at, police shootings and then start looking at like, I'm sure y'all always look at police shootings. I'm sure this demographic. Right. But for me, I started looking at like, looking at therapists who just kind of start doing little memes here and there, and just little reminders like, oh, this is actually healthy behavior. This is unhealthy behavior. Go and just after a year, go, oh yeah, that's right.
What do you think of this person's issue? Do you think they'll ever come back?
I mean, if they're doing therapy, then yeah.
Do you think they'll come back?
I mean, they did not specifically talk about what the issue was. More or less, she pointed out that he needed therapy.
This is the thing about this email. It's funny that they're all about what happened in the breakup. To me, when you break up with someone, you're going to the breakup with the breakup already done. Like she says, we have this, all of this is about what happened the days of breaking up.
Yeah,
but this guy packed for battle. This guy went to the breakup, already done. Yeah. So the idea that when I read in this email, after years of being on the fence, he suddenly decided he didn't want kids. To me, I think this is a guy going, hey, your indecision cannot be something that this person blames you for a year from now, 2 years from now. I got to get away. Like when you say I don't want kids suddenly, I don't buy it.
Yeah, that's a hard word. Suddenly, didn't he say he always didn't want kids too?
Well, he was on the fence for years. I think that is something.
Yeah.
To me, that's a guy. Like what happens is you go to a breakup and you go, okay, I'm gonna get asked why, and you go, and I think for this guy, he's broken up not about losing. I don't want to say it's not about losing you, but it's about what the fuck? I'm with this great person, perfect match for someone, and I'm just not getting to the next step. So something, and it's fairy dust. Like he doesn't know what that is. He can't explain it. So now he's like, okay, let me find some ways to explain it to this person. Mm-hmm. And so he goes therapy. He goes baby. He goes, I got to work on myself. I was arrogant. He takes all the daggers to get the fuck away from you. I don't think that means he's coming back. And I understand, just because it was a good breakup doesn't mean you're going to go back. That means he cared about the breakup. That means he's a little bit of wreck about his own. I think it's living in the key of me. He's in this selfish space of I'm looking to get better for me.
Also, 2 years in, you didn't actually get to know him. You can lie for 2 years. That's the problem. It's around that mark is when you start becoming a real person. And it's one of those, I don't that's
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years, for the first year, you're doing the dates, you're doing the vacation. The second year, you're meeting everybody. You see
intense ass schedule, suddenly you're under pressure.
Right. And then it becomes, okay, are we together forever? And he's going, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then he goes in and he goes, no, baby. Pushes you away. Now you have tangible reasons that this guy isn't going to be your guy, and you're writing to me going, he's more erect than me. I don't know. How do you
measure that?
Right? How do you measure that? I mean, to me, he's and everything he's erect about is about him, and him going, I don't know why I can't, I don't know if this is complimentary to her because he's going, great person. What the fuck is wrong with me that I'm not having that? Let's do the next step. And so he doesn't have that, whatever that feeling is. Again, I've never had that feeling.
Can I cut in for a second?
Please.
Because sometimes I used to use this excuse a lot too. That's just me, something with me.
Right.
And then there was one year, God, I forgot what year it was. I realized my childhood was garbage, and I finally just told women honestly up top, yeah, my childhood is this. Do you still want to? And I found that it solved a lot of problems, guys. I'm telling you, you be thinking like, let me got some wordy messages and shit. No, tell them about your childhood, and they may leave you alone. Like, oh, because like to me,
I'm at the
point.
Way.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like I tell my life stories, because I realized red flags can be used to your advantage. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you tell a woman a red flag that you think, okay, somebody should point this story out because this is a scary ass story, and she just sits there and doesn't blink, something might be wrong with her.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Now, now you're pushed away because like, why the fuck you want to be
here?
Would
me? This is unhealthy behavior. Right. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. He said a lot of things that he wasn't ready for, and you definitely dismiss that to like hear what you want to hear, and that's what I think I'm on your side.
Well, that's the thing. You heard, oh my God, it is funny to go, this was such a good breakup, we should stay together.
Yes.
And you go, and I understand that you go, look at how well we communicate. It's like, no. You communicated when he had a goal, and his goal was to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And and then he said, let me bring up 700 things you can't deny because the decision was made before he got there.
Yes. It's emotional. It's no logic. It's all emotion.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here was Seton Smith. Everyone go follow Seton at Seton Smith on Instagram, on TikTok. He's all over the place. Live at Madison Square Garden. The special, fantastic. And just the bigness of it. I can't.
Thanks, man.
Get over. It's just seeing you at Madison Square. It's so cool. I was just so happy.
Yeah, it was cool. And I pictured of Mulaney. He was all like, why? I was like, why not? It's crazy. It's a crazy idea for me to be there.
So when you told Mulaney that you were going to like tape it, what did he say?
No, he actually pitched it. He was like, you should do something. Do something in front of me. I was like, okay, how about Madison Square Garden? I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, why?
And he's cool.
He's amazing. He's helped me out so much. He's helped me out, like, just help me out with lines, help me out with just, like, talking comedy out with him, being able to, like, just, talk about his set with him, because his set is just so great right now.
That's so cool.
It's just lucky to be there.
It's time to talk about Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Factor shops, preps, cooks, and delivers to your door so you can just enjoy no hassle. These fresh, never frozen meals are delicious and nutritious. I've had them. They're great. You cook them up. They're ready to go. No, it takes no time. I think it's, you just throw them in the microwave and you're good to go. Here's the thing. When you're trying to get healthy, it's all about portion sizes and creativity. If you're doing grilled chicken every day, it's not going to last that long. With Factor, you get options, and they have calorie smart and keto options. Factor meals are perfectly portioned to keep you on track with your goals. Factor now offers 34 meal options per week. That's more than you could. That's 32 more than you know how to cook, and 3 dozen add-on options like sweets, smoothies, juices, and so much more. Not only is Factor cheaper than takeout, these meals are ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. That's right. 2 minutes, you're good to go. Head to factormeals.com/JTrain50 and use code JTrain50 to get 50% off your first box. That's some real cashola. That's code JTrain50 at factormeals.com/JTrain50 to get 50% off your first box. You used to have to choose between wearing something cute or something long-lasting. And with Rothy's shoes and bags, your look will be chic and sustainable. Rothy's are durably designed so you can keep them in your closet longer. Just pop them in the washing machine when they need refreshing. I wear them. I love them. And they couldn't be more right. I've had my pair of Rothy's driving shoes. Driving shoes, if you know, it's like it's a little bit like it's a loafer, I guess, but they don't last that long. These Rothy's ones, still going, still looking great, still looking sharp, still looking brand new. You put them in the wash, they're good to go. Known for the original slip-on sneaker, Rothy's also makes insanely comfortable loafers, ankle boots, and more. With so many styles, you'll never worry about getting brand new shoes each season ever again. Designed with the plan in mind, all Rothy's shoes and bags are sustainably made with their signature threads spun from single-use plastic bottles. For stylish and sustainable shoes, shop Rothy's. Get $20 off your first purchase at Rothys.com/JTrain. That's ROTHYS.com/JTrain. Let's do another one.
Do another one, man.
Do men care about your Instagram? Okay, you mentioned Instagram. healthier Instagram. JTrain, superstar guest. You're the superstar guest. Huge fan of you and all your content. You up with benefits, bachelor live streams, etc. Well, thank you. I've seen you a few times at the Comedy Cellar, including on my birthday last fall, and you have crushed it every time. Well, this is very nice.
I've seen it too. It's amazing.
Thank you. I broke up with my boyfriend of 3 years in August and have found it difficult to get back in the dating scene. I spent the fall visiting family and friends and focusing on my career, all the things J&J prescribed post-breakup. In this time, I started posting more on Instagram again as a fun and creative outlet for myself. I've always loved social media and suddenly had more time on my hands. My personal IG is that of a basic millennial living in NYC. I post a lot of mirror selfies to show outfits I've put together and throw in the occasional gym thirst trap. Especially since the breakup. I do appreciate the fire emoji DM slide. However, I would say most of the comments I get are from my girlfriends hyping me up. Recently, one of my guy friends from college, let's call him John, came to visit me. He's 32, I'm 30. Both of us are single and live in major but different U.S. cities. We had a fling when we met my freshman year, but then we decided it was just best to be friends. There have been a few drunken hookups along the way, but all happened over 5 years ago. During John's visit, he asked me if I thought I was still single because of the way I post on Instagram. I was very caught off guard by this comment and asked him to explain. He told me I was beautiful and smart and did not need to post thirst traps to get male attention. I was really taken aback, and he doubled down by saying I'm not in my early 20s and men won't take me seriously if I post things like this. In the end, I was incredibly upset and have not talked to John since. He apologized and said it was coming from a place of love, but I felt very attacked and like he was blaming me for my lack of a husband. It has left... I don't think that's it, you've taken it to the next. I don't think he was right in how he said things, but like, this is why you're an unmarried wench. No, that's not. But I do.
That was deep. Go ahead.
It has left out in my mind that I'm coming off like a wannabe IG model, but I'm hopeful any man who is right for me will have enough confidence to not care what I post. My question is, do men care if girls post flirty photos on Instagram when they are first dating? Would you be comfortable having a girlfriend post tasteful gym and bikini pictures? If you looked at a girl's profile before the first date and saw that she had some thirst traps, would you instantly categorize her as a one-night stand and not a serious option? Thanks for all you do. I love this question. It's an aware question coming from a place of, they were hurt by a friend. I think the friend, there's such a thing as too honest.
Yeah.
There's such a thing as like, you're not really feeding me the information appropriately.
What were you asked? Was
your opinion I didn't ask for your opinion, and now she's been presented with this opinion. What do you feel about this email?
Okay, you're right. I'm first off a dude. Absolutely shouldn't have brought it up unless they were talking about it. If they were talking about it, I mean, discussing how you come off. I don't think that's like an opinion. It's more of that's a science thing. I mean, like, if you wear a suit, you get respect. If you wear a bikini, you get a certain opinion. I mean,
well, it's funny because I think we're on the same page. I'm going to give some hard truths to her, and I think what you're saying is right. Like, you can't. Societally, bikini gives different vibe than suit. You're right.
Yes, it just gives a vibe. It's just one of those. It's not even what's the word? This is not misogyny. This is more or less like a conversation on just how we agree on language. You know what I mean?
Right.
I used to believe suits weren't real either. As a comic, I used to be like, man, suits ain't shit. Then Mulaney put me on the suits, and I realized when a man, no matter where you're at, if a man walks into a crack house with a suit on, they're going to get quiet for a second because they're like, what's going on? You have the floor because it's just a commanding presence. Same thing with like bikinis. Bikinis does create a certain amount of just animalistic attention where you're like, I'm not, like, I'll tell women this shit, like, we're like I don't like titties in comedies. Like back in the 80s, they used to all have titties in comedies. I don't like that because once my dick is hard, nothing's funny anymore. I can't think no more.
Things have gotten serious.
Things have gotten serious now. Now I'm thinking about it's one of those. It's respecting the animal of also all on the one side, but on the flip side, dude, you shut the fuck up. That ain't your opinion.
Right. You know what I mean? How this information was given is, and also we both laughed at he's my worthiness of having a husband. This isn't what this is about. Yeah. And that's not what this guy, I think, was trying to... let's take this guy, this friend, at a most empathetic view. Let's trust that he's like, I'm coming to you with love, even though it's like, I'm just saying it as a friend. Like, that's an asshole thing to do. I do think there's truth in what he's saying.
But you know what, though? Now that you say it out loud, a man only cares about what he said logically. A woman only cares about what it means to her. Like marriage possibility wise. And I think I should address that side. And I'm going to say that
he didn't say this to get you.
He didn't say He could have said it to get you in order to control you. That could always be on the table.
Fine.
That's always
and
a
that's
man.
A sadistic.
A man's been plotting over 5 years.
On the table.
On the table. I got to put you down because you're super hot. That's always on the table.
Right.
But on the flip side, I think I have a friend of mine who was married to an Instagram. Well, she's not an Instagram model on purpose. She's just super hot.
Right.
And she'll just put up like her bikini on and be like, and you'll just see it and go, my God. And there's some pictures that he has asked her, like, can you take it down? And as a best friend, I'm like, I see where it's coming from.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to look at your wife like that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. You know, I'll say a few things that. Okay, first of all, she calls them thirst traps.
She did admit to her.
So when you know, so she has to admit to the language she's using, and you can't say when she says, my question, would guys, you looked at a girl's profile? No. I was taking a place of love and IG model. My question is, do men care if girls post flirty photos on Instagram when they're first dating? It's like,
that's a shitty
so
word.
When you say, when you're calling it a flirty photo, then you go, okay, so do I care that my girlfriend is flirting with her 200 followers? Yeah, I would go, yeah, that doesn't really happen. And then she says...
I mean, if it's only 200, then that means she ain't that hot.
But
if it's 4,000, you know what I mean? If you're hot on Instagram, you automatically get 20,000 views.
By average, everyone's got 200... everyone's got some sort of platform. And she says, I'm hopeful any man who is right for me will have enough confidence to not care what I post. And it's like, that's not a confidence thing, it's more of a respect thing. And then you go, okay, I'm with this person, then you're posting what you have called a thirst trap. So who are you trapping? Who are you trying to make thirsty? Where am I not giving you that you are getting here? Like, listen, I agree. When you're single, you start posting to the moon. I get out of a relationship, all of a sudden I'm posting, a picture I never would have posted in a relationship. There's so many women that write in this that they say like a guy posting on social media is unattractive to them. It goes both ways. When a guy's posting a lot on social media, I can understand someone looks at my profile and they go, this guy, he's not fucking funny. He's putting out all this shit. He yells at the back. All of this is not for me. So listen, you're not for everybody. That's okay. Here's what I will say. I went on a date. I'll give you a story, and I hope this relates.
Please, let's go into.
I got I went on a date with someone that slid into my Instagram DMs.
Got you.
Okay. Fantastic date. But here's what happened. I'll give you exactly how it happened. She writes to me on Instagram, hey, I just think you're funny and cute and would love to get a drink sometime from a Jersey Jewish chick in New York. And I go, and so now what do I do? What do? You look at the person's profile. Okay. So I go to the profile, open profile, cute, great. Then I saw that a friend followed them. I go to the friend. I go, hey, what's the deal? Right? So then they come back, they go, cool, funny, smart, killing it. Rubber stamp. So now you get the approval. And I think, so then we go on the date, have a wonderful time. So end it there. I get a DM 2 days later.
Wow.
Hey, just saw you at the Comedy Cellar. I never do this, but would love to get a drink sometime. But I did just message Sam Morril. I never do this, but closed profile, can't see them. I messaged Sam. I go, did you get a DM for this person? He's like, sent me the same thing. And I'm like, nuh-uh. And you have closed profile, couldn't get a sense of who they were. Now,
True.
Let me go back to the first person. Mm-hmm. They did have some bathing suit pictures up. They did have some thirst trap. But the friend thing, where the friend approved, and I think the fear from men when we get a DM slide, and listen, I am not absolving, I'm just giving you a side of the story. I think a lot of women look at someone sliding their DM and they go, will I be physically safe? And I think what a lot of guys do, and they go, will I be mentally safe? And when I saw that, and you check out, are they cool? Can I trust this person? Because we're told, go approach the woman, go make the move. And when someone makes the move on us, you go, I don't know. So when guys are looking at your profile and you go, I got all these, and I go, I'm just seeing if they're a human being.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not seeing, and if this person can I trust this person? I think that's the big thing.
They need more than like 7 posts of them on that same day. You know those ones? Those fake accounts?
Right.
I'm hot and lonely.
Right. So it's like, it's not that the thirst trap, listen, if you're posting from the gym in a bikini picture, I go, that's hot. But then I go, is there also like family in these pictures? Is there also like, are they all like, what does the whole menu say? So it's like, I don't want to agree with her friend because I don't like the way he did it, but I will say like, yeah, we're judging like, is this person going to kind of like, it's the mental stuff.
Yeah, for me, I kind of want more coffee shops than you on a boat. If you're on a boat, that means I'm going to need boat money to handle you. How many yacht pictures you got, nigga?
Right,
Who is this fat dude that took you around the world?
Well, this is again, you're saying exactly, we're saying the same thing because it's like, who did you trick into the boat?
Yeah.
Like, listen, I can see, unless you own, listen, we can tell from the profile. Where's the work picture that shows that you're the CEO of a company and you rent a boat on the weekend?
Yeah.
Right?
When Rihanna's on a private plane, you're like, okay, that's Rihanna's private plane. When your hot ass on a private plane, I'm like, what nigga plane is this?
Right.
I'm sorry, what man's plane is this? We can edit this, right?
but this is, I think like, if you're listening to this with an open mind, you're going, it's 2 straight men telling you about the fears that we have. So when I see thirst trap, that is literally, you're saying, I am putting this up to trap a thirsty man. So you have to admit to the game that you're playing and why someone would be like, I'm going to back away. That's not to say you're not husband, like that's insane, right?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Now I'm going to a memory of one time I did slide in some DMs, and once we got there, I just said the wrong words. I just like, just say just one stupid thing. Ruined it.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Seton Smith at Seton Smith. Go YouTube, Seton Smith live at Madison Square Garden. I'm not losing weight for my wedding.
Okay.
Jared Shelby, an esteemed guest, love the pod, started listening to You Up in April and have since followed you on IG as well as attended a You Up live show. Long story short, I'm a 2023 bride who has been in recovery for an eating disorder for 10 years. In the past decade, I've found a lot of growth and food freedom and have gained somewhere between 25 to 30 pounds. It's interesting. Like in the past 10 years, I've gained 25 to 30 pounds. Yeah, that's like 10 years. Like that's what you do.
It's life.
But good for you. I'm happy you're taking care of this. I'm not planning on losing weight for my wedding, but feel mentally exhausted and sometimes a little jealous of women who speak about their bridal weight loss in Facebook groups, on IG, etc. Do you have tips for tuning this out? I know you're not a therapist, but I haven't heard a letter like this before spoken about in the lounge. But I also feel a little champagne problem because I can't afford therapy and I'm paying for this wedding with my fiance on her own. Sometimes I think I should just be grateful for that. Any suggestions or advice is appreciated. Thanks for reading. Not shedding for the wedding. What do you think?
I believe in a healthy lifestyle. So as a man, I've been doing martial arts for 7 years, or I guess 8 years in May. I believe every woman should learn how to fight. I suggest start doing some kickboxing classes simply because even if you're overweight, it's a stronger punch. So, you're praised for your weight. You ain't got to just you're praised.
Well, get the aggression out. You can imagine you're fighting some of these Facebook assholes.
Mm-hmm. Now you think about weight, you just think about being healthy and just killing people.
I think, it's interesting because like as someone who's dealt with their own weight problems and food issues and alcohol and all that stuff, I understand what they're saying. It's like, I want to be in on this, and here's the thing. The worst part is what's included in wedding conversation is, are you shredding for the wedding? It has become synonymous. So it's almost like for someone like this who's dealing with their own, 10 years of eating disorder, you go, fuck, I'm back in this conversation that I've been able to avoid, and it's almost unavoidable.
Yeah.
I think for them, they wrote right here, they're like, any tips for tuning this out? Weight loss in Facebook groups and IG. It's time to unfollow these accounts.
Absolutely. Why are you doing this?
You know how to plan your wedding. You know what you want. Yeah. You don't need to be in a Facebook group to hear about all these Facebook groups are drama. They go, one person posts, here's my perfect wedding, and then 7,000 people go, here's why it's not perfect. Do you need that?
Do they do
Does that help you get to your wedding of your dreams? No. That's what they do.
I never read comments on wedding, but that's what they do. They just hate.
Rob Gronkowski just posted a picture. Mm-hmm. No, Camille. What's his girlfriend's name? My brother sent this to me. Whatever. I mean, she's actually follows me on.
Does she?
On Twitter. She's nice. And she came on You Up. She's very nice.
Oh, that's dope.
She was very cool. Gronk posted, "Happy birthday, my sweetheart Camille." Her name's Camille Kostick. I think, right? Let me make sure. Yeah, Camille Kostick. Mm-hmm. She was wonderful, beautiful. Happy birthday, my sweetheart, Camille. It made me like Gronk more because he was with a woman that was like so cool.
I always like Gronk. He plays 2 broken legs. You got to love a man like that.
The best. Wishing you nothing but love and success. You are always so willingly to go over the top for others, so may you enjoy your birthday night, my love. P.S. You always deserve double flowers. Okay, beautiful post. Her birthday.
Real love.
My brother sent it to me. He goes, you got to read the comments. Here's one of the comments. Where's her ring, bro? What the fudge? If I were her sister, you'd hate me. Laughing face emoji. You can't Brady and quit twice. Your ass out of this. She's a keeper and you're a handful. Handle it. This is how, and you're like, well, this is in the wedding conversation. This is how people talk about weddings. I have no relation to this. You have no, like, this idea of like, wow. The minute you get a long-term girlfriend, you get like over 2.5 years, all of a sudden you get people like, when are you going to put a ring on it? And you're like, whoa, where did this group come from? And it's like,
yeah, it's gross.
Everything to do with weddings, negative. I posted a video of my brother. He got engaged to his fiance, and then we had this like big surprise for her, like friends and family. She walks in, she's crying. Nice. Beautiful moment.
Beautiful.
And then people comment, "Lo, your mom's wearing white to the engagement party." It's like, yeah, my mom wore a wedding dress. What the fuck are you talking about? And it's like, wow. How did you make this negative?
Yeah, wow. That's
and
sad.
Listen, if I'm seeing this, then you're the bride to be. Get out of these groups. None of them are going to help you plan a wedding that you want. None of them are going to make you feel good. Whatever you think, if you want tablecloths that have paisley on them, someone's going to go, Paisley gave my grandmother cancer. It's just, this is how it goes.
They shit on, they found like dogs that kiss babies, and everybody's like, that dog's going to kill that baby.
Right.
Like, why?
How did you take this sweet thing, this wonderful thing? You are getting married in 2023. You look fantastic. I promise you.
That's right.
Whatever you weigh is perfect. And here's the other thing. Let's go get a new wardrobe and fucking live in our clothing. Feel good in our clothing. I found these t-shirts on Madewell. I love these t-shirts.
Nice.
I have a tough time finding t-shirts. The minute I find one that fits, I buy 10. I go, I don't care what this costs. My comfort there's no amount of money that my comfort isn't worth.
I feel you. I bought some boots the other day. I'm just like, I walked around the city for 2 weeks, 2 hours. Like, oh my God, my feet feel comfortable. I didn't realize I was walking crippled for for so long. I thought it was a normal thing.
Let's start creating our silos to be comfortable silos. Absolutely. That's what the internet is. Right now, you're living in a silo of hate and negativity, and you go, but it's wedding stuff. Every wedding thing will become negative.
I also will say this about health. There's health, and then there's fitness. There's a lot of people out there who are very fit, who are unhealthy like a motherfucker out there.
Totally.
So check your health out. As long as you're healthy, dear, enjoy your life.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Seton Smith. At Seton Smith on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. 2 years sober, feeling lackluster.
I'm sorry.
You don't drink.
I do.
You do. No, you do drink.
Yeah. I stopped drinking when I was dating, but then I went back into it.
You're back in.
I went back into it.
Yeah, you were like a whiskey guy.
Yeah, I love whiskey. It's fun.
Yes.
It's a very pleasant drink because you can't drink too much of it. I mean, you can, but you can pace yourself. And
it warms you.
Yeah.
I love a whiskey in the winter.
You could sip it. It's just a pleasant time. Beer, you got to chug, and that shit gets you in bad trouble, in my opinion.
I left investment banking 2 years to get sober after a gnarly opiate addiction.
Oh, this is different.
This is different, yeah. I left San Francisco to head home to Minnesota to go to rehab. I've maintained my sobriety and have re-entered the workforce with a cushy, less demanding finance job in Minnesota. I love that. You can live very well in Minnesota at a cushy finance job. The girlfriend and I moved into a house we rent together. Even though on paper everything is quote unquote going well for me, I can't help but feel life has petered out. I'm no longer flying around advising on acquisitions or living in a major city. I am also no longer going out and partying or ingesting painkillers on a daily basis. Days just seem so routine now. Clock in, clock out, hit the gym, maybe a date night. Part of me just wants to throw it all aside, grab a backpack, and hit South America. When I tell people this, they all say they would love the life I have now. I mean, I just did that to you. I just said, cushy job. Like, listen, as two people who sit here and fly around
constantly. I say go to South America. Go now.
Go. You can say
Get the
go.
fuck out. Go now. Find a fucking witch doctor.
I was about to say I'm like jealous of this lifestyle. Like there's moments where I go, listen, the grass is always greener. You don't ever go like I wish I was clocking in, clocking out, date night.
There have been a few moments where I've been so hungry and so broke. But it didn't last long. But nah, man, fucking go to South America and discover your dream.
When I tell people,
you know what, my own pet on there. Drugs are a lot of times. If you go to India, a lot of people have figured out drugs are sometimes gateways to a consciousness that your brain wants, but drugs are not the right way to go. There's a lot of meditation. There's a millennia of meditation practices that actually get you higher than any drug can get you. So therefore, your feeling of want can be validated. You just got to go find the right way.
Well, that's interesting that you say that. And I think like the one thing they have to be aware of is triggers. You know, does going to South America make you want drugs? Or does South America, is that the drug? Does that become the drug? You know what I mean? Like, you know, because listen, San Francisco, living there, major city, I'm sure living this type of lifestyle, I could understand how that's like an easy way into like, hey, take these pills, whatever. I don't know. I don't have experience in this. I can't tell you. I'm not a professional. They're in rehab. They're doing the work. Mm-hmm. But when they say I want to just go to South America, do you want to just go to South America like because that's a way to excuse other behaviors, or does South America equal that excitement that you're looking for? I don't know. I think this is something they need to figure out. But which just further puts me when I tell people about my life, they say they would love the life I have now, which just further puts me down because for some reason I have a hard time enjoying. Sure, some days are better than others, but yet the existential dread continues on my mind. Help! Can't wait for you to get back for a show in Minnesota. So listen, this is a serious email.
I'm with it. I'm telling you, you know what? You're not supposed to enjoy it. Maybe you're not supposed to. Maybe your feelings are right and valid. Go to South America. Experience life.
Well, I think that's the other thing. Like, let's put some dates on the calendar.
Yeah.
It's like when I read where I'm going, I get excited.
Exactly.
I'm going to Vancouver tomorrow. I am so fucking excited to go to Vancouver. I'm like,
awesome place.
Awesome place. It's a place I would never go to had it not been for comedy. Like, I'm not going to Vancouver with maybe I would go to Whistler, but it would be one trip with my family if I had made enough money to like, but it wouldn't be just a random trip to Vancouver where I could waltz. You know, when we go on the road, we waltz around a city. We experience it in a way that's slower. It's not like I got to be somewhere or I got to see the museums. You can just there's no pressure on it. So maybe, why don't you start, I think this person needs to travel like a comedian. I think go to a place that you don't have to go climb Machu Picchu. You just got to just be there. Have a coffee in South America. You know what I mean?
But he's a thrill seeker. Remember he was talking about, he's a Wall Street guy.
Right.
He wanted drugs. Big. He wanted to do drugs while on a plane, while having a deal.
So maybe plan that trip.
He needs some shit.
Plan that thrilling trip. And also, like, I think, stop bringing it to the outside world. Mm-hmm. You got a girlfriend. He mentioned the girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Let's get pumped to do this together. Let's get pumped to do, like, I think, bring the girlfriend into it and let's go outside of ourselves. Let's be a little, and
I agree.
Honestly, like, you have to assess, is this person, you know, part of that, your relationship, like, I think you need to read this email to your girlfriend.
Yeah.
To make sure that they want the same lifestyle. I have two friends, they're planning on no kids. When they travel big. They're coming, I'm going to go to London, they're going to come. They're like, we're coming.
That's nice.
So it's like, and just the idea that you can do that, like, I think this person, and also you're in Minnesota, you're in a Delta hub.
Right.
There's a lot of options.
Yeah. Also, you could cheat, which is just as exciting. All that back and forth.
Right.
You never, things can happen.
Hiding your phone. That's just like an opiate.
Yeah, you get another family? What?
I think that, but the idea, the South America thing, it doesn't have to be all South America, all Minnesota.
Right.
And also you're at a cushy job. They'll give you a week. Go take a week. Go say to them, hey, I need a month off to go to South America. I'll work from home. How about work from home gives you the opportunity to go, can I work from home Texas? I don't know if that's available to you, but it might be. These are all options.
Is ayahuasca illegal? I think ayahuasca's not addictive.
I don't know if I'm going to give drugs to the drug guy, but
I mean, either. That's why I'm asking, drug guy. You do the research before you go back and relapse.
Like your balls, good things come in pairs. Manscaped's Weed Whacker 2.0 just got a partner in crime, the all-new Beard Hedger. The Beard Hedger is the cordless trimmer of your dreams that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, and it's waterproof so you can shave anywhere. And since Manscaped wants you to have all the tools for the job, they're throwing in a beard brush, comb, and scissors to make you look like $1 million. Once you've done your own face, switch to the Weed Whacker 2.0 to clear out those tough to trim ears and nose hairs. I love this. I am a huge Manscaped fan. These are things that we kind of put off to the side. I think if you're out there and you want a good gift for your boyfriend or your husband, this is a great idea. If you're just looking to get something for yourself, I love Manscaped. Great product, and you can get some free money. So get 20% off and free shipping with code JTrain at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code JTrain. Always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Seton Smith at Seton Smith live at Madison Square Garden. The special's so good. I want people to go watch it. So go watch. Perpetually feeling not enough, tired of dating in my 30s. Sing it, sister. Okay, Jared, just want to preface this email dramatically. Yes, I'm taking an extended break from the apps and dating. I'm feeling the effects of the something better around the corner dating world. I'm about to turn 35, just moved to a new city, very focused on my career. I'm not interested in kids or marriage. I was recently on a date with a guy who said women 35 and older are too old for him. He was 34. Okay. So my honest to God question, what is the point of dating for straight women in their 30s? If guys can just get with younger and thinner women on all these apps their entire lives with little to no effort, and nothing I do will ever be good enough since I'm too old and considered overweight by today's unrealistic Kardashian surgery standards. Well, you've made a lot of assumptions of all of us, and listen, your feelings are valid. I can understand you run into a guy who says 35 is too old for him and he's 34. You're like, what the fuck? Your feelings are valid. I would say you're painting with broad strokes.
This kind of goes with other email too, but I don't want to reference, but it's more or less the attitude of a single woman versus the attitude of a woman who's married. In the sense of, it's kind of like you have the attitude of a manager or you have the attitude of an employee. It's just like,
interesting.
You know what I'm saying? It's more or less the thinking of a wife does not think I'm not good enough. Thinking of a wife ideally is like, how can I be supportive and help this man? Little things. I remember one time, there's a couple of dates I went on where a woman was like, got out of a relationship and realized the woman I was in with dating, I was like, this is a really wifey action. Like, I remember I was meeting her at a bar and it was about to be last call. And so she took a picture of the menu and sent it to me. And it was just a simple gesture, but nobody had ever done that before. And it was just like, oh, that's just a wife supporting you in life action of a wife.
Made you like them more.
Absolutely. Oh, you consider me. That's a wife. Wives consider their versus there's some girlfriends don't consider their fucking. They're like, I want to do this shit. Why aren't you doing it too? Like, there's two different attitudes.
Also, the attitude of like, you just want to do that for someone, and that won't, not for any reason other than I just like doing that for you, and I don't. It's a freedom of like, I act because I like.
Yeah, it's like we're a team, and therefore you're acting like a team member, and like, oh, we're helping each other. And like, it's also on you to look at that person. Is he a good team member to me? But also, am I being a good team member too? Like, there's that back and forth.
The employee manager metaphor is very good in that sense because, it's the difference between I work with Seaton, I work for Seaton.
Absolutely.
I work with, like, if you own a company, you say I work with the people that work technically for me. I would assume you're a better boss.
Exactly.
But this person, I've invested a lot in myself. Grad school, lots of travel, well cultured. I read. I'm currently writing a book. I'm passionate about my career, giving back. I'm super active, running, gym, dance. I've been told and know I'm amazing in bed. But here's the other thing, manager, employee. When you say I've been told I'm amazing, for that guy. I don't know. That's not really. That doesn't. That's kind of a little bit of the part of the problem. There's a lot of issue with perspective here, which we can't. Again, your feelings are valid, but your perspective to me puts you in kind of a hole. Mm-hmm. When you say I've been told I'm amazing, I don't know. I've gotten, I've been with women that. It's just
you lied to.
Well,
you just lied to. Like, yeah, that was great, baby. Yeah, the way you laid there stiff was great.
But I've also been with women where I'm like, I've been like, wow, us together are good in bed. And then, you know, I don't know. It's just, to me, that's like one of those points when you write it down, it shows it's important to you, and I don't think it's that important.
It may not be. And also, objectively, I'm great in bed, and I never think about it.
But 99% of the time, it feels like none of that matters. It doesn't. It never will. Well, I'm not saying it won't. When it comes to entering into a meaningful monogamous relationship, she writes in all caps, based on mutual respect, honesty, loyalty, and support. I'm honestly not asking you to tell me everything is going to be okay. I'm not. I'm saying your perspective might be your issue.
She says, I want respect, and she followed with a disrespectful statement. I want respect, but I don't give a fuck about your opinion or not.
If the dating world has dramatically altered because of the apps, you're blaming, and now guys of all ages have adopted a lizard brain mindset. That
disrespectful attitude.
They can perpetually get as young, thin. She's obsessed with this thin thing. That's where, the thin is kind of the part where she's outing herself, because it's like, listen, the thin thing, I get it, but that's when you're saying these are your issues.
Yeah.
Like, because I like a curvy woman. Like the idea, like, I could date someone and the next person could be not as thin as the last. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. So, and I'm speaking for me. I know you're doing broad brush strokes, and listen, I'm not against generalizing, because that's what we do in comedy a lot of times.
Human beings have to generalize to survive. I get it, man.
Right. So, but I would say that's where I go. That's the part where I and beautiful as they please any time with no effort. So be it. I mean, you're repeating yourself at this point. I just wish y'all would be honest about it, not waste my time when you deep down don't want someone my age or size or whatever. I'm tired of feeling like the layover, no pun intended, before the cookie cutter Model S 22-year-old girl of their dreams, just so they can show off to their guy friends and on social media. I don't think she exists, and I don't think men are being realistic with themselves about having that, or honest with me. Feather, 35 and tired as fuck.
How many dudes did that to you? Because I need a number now, because that seems like a very specific situation to happen multiple times all the time.
Listen, there's someone at home listening, similar spot to her, nodding along, saying, "Sing it, sister."
Right. Absolutely.
So that is okay. I disagree with her, but we can, respectfully disagree. But I don't disagree that this has happened to her.
I'm law of attraction. I believe all realities exist. I believe that her talking right now is just going to get her the same type of people. If you keep talking about, like, don't have sex with those people you describe, but there's a whole different category of dudes who like her, who like your mind, who actually want you older, because talking to a 20-year-old is painful. I tried it. It's fucking hard. They don't talk about stuff. Like sometimes there are people out there who enjoy you for you.
She also writes she's not interested in kids or marriage. So that's that's one of those things that gets used against you. Like, when vulnerability also shows where people can hurt you. I have this all the time. Where, like, when I talk about on podcasts about weight stuff and being 37 and being single, when someone wants to be mean to me on social media and they're trying to really get at you, they go, "You fat single fuck." You fat old guy.
You read all your comments? You're so strong.
I'm aware. Okay. But I also know that person is the most destructive type of person. They've taken my vulnerabilities in a public space, like this podcast, used it against me. So those people are out there. So when you say I never want to be married or have kids, that's fine. But you're going to meet a lot of guys who are like, ooh, opportunity to fucking leave.
There's that.
I'm not saying to hide that, but I'm just saying, let's be aware of the
Also, when you get older, man, you get 35 and up, you start to get into these habitual ways where it's like, I kind of like my mornings. I don't need you to be here for my mornings, but we can have a great life together. Let's just start to schedule more. Like, we can have a great life and then have our own great life. Like build you up your own great life, and a dude wants to come visit sometimes, then you won't even have this problem no more. Like, little things like that.
Well, she seems to have like things together. Like, everything she wrote, like within the the anger. There's good stuff here. There's like, I read, I got higher education. I think she has to try and let go of these things, because listen, here's the other thing. Men taste misery on a date. Men like a fun date. Okay? They want to be out with someone where it is fun and no care in the world. I'm not saying that's...
I'm gonna bump back. There's versions of fun though, because I'm the type of dude that kind of likes to talk about childhood trauma for fun.
Okay,
I'm like, oh shit, you were scarred that way? Fuck, but it's fun for me. Some people want to just talk about lollipops, and there's that,
But here's the thing. I agree with you, but you're open and honest with someone on a date. You can tell. I can always tell when I'm on a date with a woman who has had it and is holding back. I was on a date with a girl once, and she was like, we had a mutual friend. And I go, oh my, and I just was like, I have shows tonight. Can we get together earlier as opposed to later? And she goes, Broadway? And I go, oh, I just assumed you knew I was a comedian because we have that mutual friend. I assumed that they asked them about me. And they go, I didn't. I go, well, I'm a comedian. I have shows. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to assume you knew that, but we had that friend. So I thought maybe they would have told you. And they go, oh, no, I told that friend just to tell me if you were normal or not, and then I don't want to hear anything else. And I go, when I heard that, I was like, oh, why can't you hear anything else?
Are you a movie? Are you a book?
Right. Don't, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Right. I want to know if he's a killer.
Right. But you go, when I go on a date, I'm like, yeah, tell me everything. We don't have to have first date shit anymore. We can just skip to to me, that was a tell. That was a tell of I've had it with this dating shit. I don't want to have to hear from a friend and I don't want to go to the friend and say it didn't work out, or I don't want to have to, and I could tell that there's just more here that I can't really help with. And now we're not on fun, we can talk about other things. We have to go through, well, I'm a comedian. Here's how I got through it. And you go,
what's that like? Oh my God, tell me a joke.
And I'm saying when I hear
joke about me,
I don't know what I can do to help this person, but I can say this languaging isn't comfy cozy. This is fists up, and maybe a break will help. Maybe it's being a better buyer and being and not dating, looking for the things that you want. I don't know what it is.
Love yourself. Say that your weight is perfect. Love yourself in the mirror a little bit more, because you're describing yourself like the negative side of yourself. You should,
the thin thing.
Look in the mirror every day and be like, I'm beautiful. Stop bringing it up.
Right. JTrain podcast at gmail.com.
It really works.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. We have a very long email. What's that? Is it good? It's good. Should we do it? One more? Let's do one more,
baby.
It's very long. Exception to the rule. Jared, I've been a fan of yours for a while. Recently became a fan of your stand-up as well when I saw you live for the first time in Toronto a few weeks ago. Crushed it. Thank you. I'm going to try and keep this concise, but it might be very long. It is. There's this guy I met over a year ago now. I technically don't date. There's this guy that I met over a year ago now. I technically don't date and was open to getting to know someone to build a connection with, the intentions of it leading to marriage one day. He knew, what? That's date. What are we talking about?
All right, we started from denial already. Hell yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, this is denial. You want to get to know someone, you want to marry them. That's okay. That's what the whole point of this whole thing is.
It's not dating.
He knew going in that I wasn't going to have sex before marriage, that I hadn't been in an actual relationship before. He had gotten out of a 9-year relationship with a woman he was living with, so we were in the exact opposite ends of the spectrum. As we continued to talk and spend time together, their background. This is...
Oh, I can't laugh no more. I ain't know.
You can laugh, but we didn't know. So they're from a religious background. That's what. No, but I mean, the sex before marriage, that has nothing to do with I'm dating to see, but maybe you're not allowed to date in certain backgrounds. I don't know.
I wasn't laughing at the... I'm still laughing. We can still laugh at the dating line. No, absolutely. Right. It wasn't a religious discovery.
He knew going in I wasn't going to have sex before marriage, that I hadn't been in an actual relationship before. He had gotten out of a 9-year relationship with a woman he was living with, so we were exact opposite ends of the spectrum. As we continued to talk and spend time together, he started to express strong feelings for me and that he wanted to marry me. I was still very unsure of everything. I've had my own insecurities for a while and was, of course, new to all that. Around the 2-month mark, he told me that he loved me as things started to progress physically. The challenges became more apparent. He wanted to do more things that weren't technically sex, and I was still uncomfortable with all that. I mean, at this point, I'm backing away. Yeah. I saying something and doing, I love you, I love you, I love you, and then you're doing things that are making you uncomfortable. the actions have to be trusted.
Yeah,
more.
Yeah. People use "I love you" as manipulative all the time. So
right.
Yeah, you're uncomfortable for you, dear, already.
My reaction at the time was always to push him away, which was the only thing that came naturally to me, making things more difficult. And then his dog died while he was with me.
That'll kill you.
One day, we officially broke up over text with him saying, "I don't think I'm the man for you," and didn't meet me for an in-person conversation. I was hurt but moved on. I've been in therapy and really work on myself. He would still text and try to stay in touch. I became indifferent and would take my time to get back to him. He eventually wanted to meet and talk it through. He apologized for how he handled everything and talked about how hard it has been for him. He said he would drive by my house every time he was in the area and that he still had feelings for me. The drive by your house thing, I'm not into that. The way I feel today is that I'm in a better place mentally and been working on my struggles with my own insecurities. I feel more confident in how I feel about him and want to genuinely try again. He says he still has feelings but is unsure he can get there again, do the whole relationship and marriage. And the physical thing as well, it's hard for him when things do progress to not do quote-unquote more. The advice I got from my therapist is that we hold off on even kissing and just build the emotional connection to see if we can get there. I'm reading this right now and I'm like, you got to leave this.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like we're meeting too many people. And technology keeps us in touch with people that maybe you shouldn't be in touch with. And to me, what you want and how you want to get there. You want marriage, and you want the physical stuff. You want that to come after marriage. That's great. Good for you. This guy, he's not going to be that.
He's not going to change for you.
That ain't going to be him.
They ain't going away.
I told him I want to meet once a week and spend time together so we can get to know each other more, and that we can still be talking to other people, and that if he doesn't want to try this, then that's fine too, but it needs to be one or the other. His response was basically, well, we have to try, followed by, I'll think about it. Yeah, no. You know exactly what you want. This guy knows hot woman I'm attracted to who gives me attention.
Yeah.
And then he keeps going back and forth. It's not going to work. I just don't want to regret it. Like if you get married, I'm going to be like, oh man, and then have to ask you to get a divorce and it will be a whole thing. See, that's bullshit stuff.
Wait, why do you have to ask for a divorce?
He's basically saying, she was like, this is manipulative. When she says, I want to try and see you once a week. And then he's like, well, I'm just thinking if you ever get married, I have to make you get a divorce. And it's like,
oh, that's, I don't like this guy at all.
I don't like speaking in the future when you don't do the things that you can do right now. Just see me once a week. Oh, I don't know, but also I don't want you getting married. Then I have to break up a marriage. It's like, but you won't.
Yeah, the him hawing. He's whining about meeting for coffee. I mean, that's a telltale sign. Honestly,
right.
If all he wants is sex and now he want to meet for coffee,
So as of now, we are trying. It seems the last time we met, he didn't end up kissing me, but it didn't lead to anything as my phone blew up with my dad calling me. LOL.
Hell yeah, Dad.
My question for you: does it seem worthy to even try here? No.
Get off. Get out.
Get out. Done. He does have low self-worth, which I can relate to as well. Relating to someone doesn't mean that you're going to get married.
Don't marry a woman with self-worth either. That's not actually useful. Don't do that. Don't
Regarding therapy, he's done it in the past 8 sessions and right now feels like he's not ready for therapy, but does open up to me about what he's struggling with. Like last time he asked, the fuck do you see in me? Now I know the rule is if a guy says he doesn't deserve you or you're too good for him, both things he has said to me in the past, then that just means he's not for you. He does these things where he'll message something like, I was thinking about you this afternoon and wanted to kiss you, and then he deletes the messages. No, this is...
Can you just Google narcissistic behavior and then just look at how he's hitting every one of these traps? Please, it's very unhealthy. This guy scares me.
So from all your wisdom and male perspective, what do you think I should do? I know I want to explore this. No, you don't. You don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. No. Feel strongly about our connection. You don't have a connection. It's a guy who will talk to you.
Yeah.
And it's a guy who will say romantic things. Yet you hope to have someone who cares about you say, this ain't the guy. This ain't the guy.
Yeah. Take the sex out of it and then look at all his nice gestures.
We're both 32, but he's 4 months younger than me. My apologies is super long and an inexperienced 32-year-old.
42-year-old version. I mean, okay, a 32-year-old version. That's that's intense.
Listen, it ain't gonna be this guy.
No.
Here's the thing. We have to, and I think the hardest thing about dating right now is it's really easy to be open with people because you don't really know them and you don't have people in common with them, and you could meet someone if you meet someone off the street, it's easier to tell them. Absolutely. It's easier to write into me who doesn't know you with this very nice email. Don't get me wrong, and I just disagree with what they're doing. I hope you run away from this guy.
Yeah.
Because it just ain't for you. He will be for someone. He is going to be someone's knight in shining armor, not yours.
You need some dudes older who don't think about that. Because the philosophy of sex around 30, I could not think straight. Like sex first, then whatever else happened next.
Right.
And like you're right, you don't want to marry a dude who thinks about his dick first because he's gonna make a lot of dick decisions.
Right.
And in general with everything else, it's all impulsive decisions. So you kind of need them up. You're doing the right process.
Right.
But it's like it's kind of hard nowadays to do that.
Right. And I think like when they say I feel for this person because it's like the sex stuff. They're probably thinking, well, no one's like this, and it's like they need to go to like their church, wherever their place of worship. Maybe it's that. Maybe you got to go find like-minded people that are in the same boat as you that understand the ramifications. It doesn't feel like this guy understands the ramifications of and how serious this is to you.
Yes, because
then he wouldn't come up to you and go, well, I'm gonna have to break up your marriage. The idea that you would get married at this age, it's manipulative. You got to get away from this guy. Right?
Yeah, negotiating for sex is like a horrible grounds to start off any relationship with anyway.
Absolutely.
I just like, I don't want to negotiate for sex. There's like 4 needs. There's 4 human needs. I found like every human being gets obsessed with one of the needs, either food, relationships, family, or sex. Those are 4 needs. And everybody gets obsessed with one of them. Right. I just noticed that. Like I can actually food. I can actually not eat for a couple of days. I've noticed that. Family. I cannot talk to friends of it. That's sex though, man. If you cut me off, I'm like, yo, this is unfair. It's really crazy.
But that is. I mean, you're so right. And also, like this person. Sex is a big, even though they haven't had it, it's that important.
It's important.
Yeah, you got to get away from it. And I got to repeat this. Because he's talking to you and being open doesn't mean he's being open.
No.
Like, it doesn't mean, because I think he's saying things that she hopes someone will say to her. And it's just not it.
All that things, like if you're saying shit like, I feel like I met you in another lifetime.
Right.
Oh, that lifetime line is like the biggest red flag. You said, what? You met me where, nigga?
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Seton Smith, thank you for coming on.
Hey, man, thanks for letting me be here.
Fantastic.
Dope.
So happy you're here. Everyone go follow Seton at Seton Smith. The special is on YouTube right now. Seton Smith, live at Madison Square Garden. I'm Jared Freid. We'll be back next week. Boom.